Good evening, folks. Welcome to another episode of the Weekly Tangent Show. We're here for episode 35, and it is 10/10 of 2019, so it's got to be a Thursday. I guess that means something. You're here with Brooks and Greg. I don't know why our logo stopped running there for a second. I don't know what's up with that.
I have no idea.
We're having a little bit of issues. Hey, Baltimore, welcome, man. Fixstar, good to see you. Yeah, we've had some weird internet problems here at work all week long, and that's affecting like everything, we think. I don't know.
The fiber line at the data center somehow got cut, was what Steven was telling us.
It's like terrorists.
I don't even know how that... I thought this was all run through like conduit and whatnot. I don't even know how that happens.
Well,
it's not like the power
we heard
line.
all this construction going on here. I'm sure it happened at this location. I don't think it... Whatever. I don't know.
And then they rolled in
with... The node broke down.
Then they rolled in with scones, and they were like... As if that like repaired the internet line.
Sorry for your crappy internet. Here's some scones. You might as well brought us like styrofoam cups to eat. Nobody likes scones. They just eat the damn things. But yeah, it was really strange. We've had issues left and right. So tonight we've had to change it up a little bit because we're still having issues. And you were bamboozled being brought here under the assumption you were going to get Castlevania Lords of the Shadows.
Right.
Ultimate Collection Edition. You're actually going to get Castlevania Lords of the Shadow Mirror of Fate Edition. So, which Mirror of Fate is actually the... it was on the 3DS. And it was a game that launched in 2013,
Is that where this came from?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
it's a remastered HD version of it.
Yeah. I couldn't recall where that one had even launched. I was sitting here going through the Rolodex of the thing, but it is.
Yeah.
From the handheld. Got it. Okay.
It is, and it's based off of the brand new franchise. We could not, for the life of us, get Lords of the Shadow to run.
Which is weird because it works on your personal
I've been playing
machine.
it all weekend,
right.
and actually on my personal channel well, not my personal channel, the other channel that I work on. Videos are starting to go up on that as of tomorrow. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on with it. But Mirror of Fate is a great game, too. And it's based on the same reimagining of the new Castlevania line. So, where Castlevania Lords of Shadow has Gabriel Belmont, which is the grandfather of Simon Belmont.
Uh-huh.
You'll see tonight where we're playing through Mirror of Fate, and then Trevor Belmont was Simon's dad. I don't know if you knew that or not, but Gabriel's son.
I only loosely know about the story. Castlevania's always kind of been like you get a whip and you kill things.
Yeah.
To me, so I don't know nearly as much about the story.
Well, in the Lords of Shadow, they actually go really deep into the storyline.
Okay.
Like, it is very cinematic. It is very much of a God of War style. We talked about that.
Right.
And it's a shame that we could not get it on here. But we will figure out what's going on and why everything's screwy right now. I think it has to do with the Windows update.
Okay.
That we didn't get because of the network being down. But who knows? Because I had taken a couple of updates to Windows prior to playing this at the house on my equipment, and it was fine. Yeah. So I think there's something going on with that. So we're going to jump into that game. We're also going to take a quick look at another game that we just got from our buddy Ilya over at Alawar, which is Space Robinson. I loaded that on here. We can play it for, shorter. We'll play it before we get into Castlevania.
Cool.
Just check it out. It's available today, and we have both the build, so you can try it for free yourself on Wild Tangent, or you can have the Steam version as well. We have that up, both of them on the front page under new. We'll put links into the chat when we're playing, and check those out. But otherwise, let's jump into news. We've got a couple things going on. I got to figure out where we're going with all this. Big news this week. PS5 is launching in holiday of 2020. They didn't say December, November. They just said holiday 2020. But this came from PlayStation themselves.
Yeah, this came from a
We knew it was coming.
combination of their blog, and then they've actually been doing this over the last year. They kind of partnered with Wired.
They did.
.com, and they've
Yep.
kind of, whether it was Mark Cerny, then they had the head of SIE. So they've had a couple of times where they've sort of worked with Wired at a, I don't know what you want to call it, they talk in slightly looser terms. So they're not they're not necessarily just throwing out numbers, but they're talking about the hard drives and the solid states. So this all kind of came up earlier this week. So it looks like, here we're about, year, 15 months out.
Yeah,
right.
It's going to be exciting.
Seeing some of these,
Prediction: the next Call of Duty will be on PS5.
I don't know. I don't know where you're coming up with these theories.
I know. Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting to see what they do, remaster, save, and what it has backward compatibility for.
Yeah, there's been some people have kind of had just some questions because they've said backwards compatibility, but to what extent?
Yep.
They've also kind of said your PS4 games can be played with each other online, but to what extent?
Yep.
Right. So
I have to imagine you're excited for the exclusive. I agree, Baltimore. I mean, they always do some excellent. Like Sony first party games are always amazing.
yeah,
They're really good. The only I can point to maybe two that were not the greatest, but not horrible. One being Dead Nation, which was a small product that they built, and they were testing out some different stuff. The other one being Rule of Rose, which they did first party in Japan for PS2, but they didn't feel it was strong enough to be published here, so another company picked it up and published it.
Yeah, so, I mean, to your point of recent memory, whether it's God of War or Horizon or Last of Us or Uncharted, or just down the line of the whole thing, it's
it's been pretty solid. So the other thing, I don't know about the backwards compatibility on this, because I can see PS4. I don't think they're going to have disc-based PS3, PS2, PS1 support for it. That's why they have PlayStation Now. Right. They're just going to beef that up, and it'll be streaming those. I just can't see it be like it'll read the disc from a PS3.
It makes me wonder if they could finagle a way.
Yeah, Baltimore.
If they could finagle a way to be like, we've talked about this off the show before, of like, would there be a way to like put your disc in and have it be some recognized, I had this, or I previously owned this, or how that would work without just being like, hey, you buy one disc and hand it to every single person you know, and now I got free games, right?
Well, I mean, if you've ever played the one for Xbox One,
right?
You still have to have the disc every time you fire it up.
Okay.
It still takes that
to
trigger the launch. Even though it downloads a larger package, for example, for the original Xbox games, when you put that disc in, if it's supported, like say it's Morrowind, it'll download the entire file with whatever updates or changes they made. It'll store it, and sometimes these things are like 4 gigabytes. Right. For a game that was much smaller on a DVD, like 600 megabytes. Right. So, but to launch the game, even once it's downloaded, you still need to have the disc in there.
Okay.
So it's not like you can just kind of you could pass it around so everybody gets the download, but you'd still need to have the disc to be able to fire it off. I don't know really what reasoning they would have, because emulation, not that emulation's crappy or anything like that. Emulation can be great to be able to get access, but emulation kind of misses out on a lot of things like, the physical hardware could do, and that's why they can't have 100%, because they have to go in and tailor everything 100, all the time.
Right.
That's why the PlayStation 3, the original PlayStation 3, the fat 20 and 60 gigabyte, they had the physical emotion engine processor from the PS2 in it. The 80 gigabyte, which was still the PS3 fat, had emulation, not the physical product, because it's cost. And the emulation could only play about 85% of the catalog. Right. So, which is still a big number. I mean, when you're talking about PS2 had like 1,400
Right.
just in the U.S., 4,000 games worldwide, pretty
Right.
much. So, yeah, it's kind of a toss-up. I don't know. We'll see. Same with Borderlands on the PS4. Yeah. Yeah, it's Borderlands 3 on the PS4. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what they end up doing with it. But it's going to be exciting. There's going to be great games that come out for it. There's going to be a lot of, cool things that they're doing right at launch. Some people would argue, even though launch year, games really don't get going until, the third year kind of thing. That's when you start hitting on all cylinders, really getting some amazing stuff. But I don't know. They're going to have good stuff to jump in with. Death Stranding will probably get some kind of remaster or something like that.
I assume Last of Us will. Ghost is there. Whatever Guerrilla's working on, right?
Yeah.
Polyphony's got GT, which perpetually is kind of just being worked on. So
yeah.
I like to think next time around, when this drops, I think we will have a hotter amount of titles, knowing that when they jumped from 3 to 4, and it was this kind of architecture change.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to be dealing with that at this point.
I would hope not.
So I
hope they never deal with that again. Really, to be honest.
Right.
All right, let's take a look at the next thing. Well, the next thing that we were going to talk about actually pertains to PS5. It was the PS4 got an update. Well, it doesn't pertain to PS5, but to Sony. PS4 got an update this week to 7.0, which added in a couple things into chat, which was kind of neat. They took the party size from 8 to 16 now.
Right.
So you can have even more people talking over each other.
Right, yeah.
And then it also added in the ability to do some kind of text over your phone. You could connect your phone to your party, and everybody could then be able to text and show stuff within there.
I've seen
I haven't seen it run.
I've seen the transcript feature. I haven't actually played with it, though.
Yeah, it looks pretty interesting. So, and then they did I know that there was a couple updates around. They added, because there was some extra support added in from the Apple side, because they added the ability to put a PlayStation controller into your device directly. So on an iPhone, you can hook your controller up to it directly, and now their app that has PSN Now or PS Now, and then their connectivity app, I know.
Yeah, far as I know, it's actually Android and Apple. Both.
Well, Android got it as well. Apple's had it for a while, but they did some updates for that as well.
And then I know that there's also HDR tuning that they also added.
Aaron talked about that when we were playing.
He was mucking with it. I haven't actually played with it myself, so
it's kind of cool. They keep updating it. It's I guess it's getting long in the tooth, though. We're almost to the end of the life cycle of the PS4. Well, before the PS5 hits. I
have to think some of this stuff is laying the groundwork for, let's put some things in place to either bridge these profiles or these accounts, or, because some of this tech, it's clear HD audio, yada yada.
Yeah.
Right. So I got to think some of this stuff is
they're not going crazy with
let's
it.
Play with it now. So when it launches, in 12 months or 14 months or whatever, we're good to go.
And just in time for the
yet another
the 16 player,
right.
Yeah, I know we were hitting across the board on PlayStation. Just another benefit for them to add 16 players in. Now they have crossplay with everybody else, so that's a good thing.
Right.
Crossplay on Battle Royale or on Fortnite's Battle Royale, and crossplay across other titles. That's going to be a big benefit to all gamers across the board, no matter if you're a PlayStation or Xbox or PC. It doesn't really matter. Crossplay should have been there from the get-go, but walled gardens are a favorite of large corporations, so they didn't want people in their yard. Now they have no choice.
Cat's
out of the bag.
I think there might have been a little bit of when you've sold 100 million machines, you get to try to throw your weight around temporarily, but
dictate kind of the market, and it didn't work out as well. So they fell in line, which is what matters. I mean, it's only to the benefit of the players.
Because I had heard about this, we were talking about, it was a month ago.
Yeah.
Where in that Call of Duty beta,
Call of Duty,
somebody told me, they were like, hey, we're playing with Xbox tonight, and I was like, what?
Yep, we've added in some new stuff.
And it actually worked very well.
Yep.
And it turned out that was merely sort of one of the big, I don't want to call it launch games, but when that came out and did well, it was, here a couple of weeks later that everyone was like, okay, yeah, you can do it for whether it's, PUBG and Rocket League or...
Rocket League's a big popular one.
Realm Royale, I think I read Street Fighter.
I can see that.
Got it. Brawlhalla got it today.
Yeah, they're going to be doing updates
so
probably across the board. Baltimore said must be Fortnite's the only game you ever purchased from Epic and ever will. That's kind of how I feel. But anyhow, let's go ahead and jump to our next story, which is Stadia is getting into the mind reading business.
I saw this.
There are concerns out there. This was kind of funny. There's concerns out there that this tech that they've built for the controller to connect directly to the server through Wi-Fi is going to have latency. Mm-hmm. And they're trying to stop everybody from believing that. So they're getting down the road into they want to start predicting somewhere in the future that, and really it sounds like one of those tarot card mind reader kind of stories that they're selling where it's it's probable, but yeah, it's flimsy. They want to predict what the button presses are going to be so they can speed up the reaction time, the latency on the control. I don't know. I don't know how they would do it. I mean, I get how they would do it, but
I usually wouldn't say this, but I don't buy this story of any functional use. I don't want anybody trying to predict what I'm going to do. I just want to play the game. So I don't totally understand
I mean, if they knew that, let's say this, if they know you're playing a shooter, and then this is where I'm thinking and guessing here. If they know you're playing a shooter, and they know that you're just jamming on the A button to shoot, they're just going to keep predicting that the A button is going to be the thing you're going to shoot. And allow the system only to worry about what the crosshairs are doing, or the crossbar, or the whatever.
I will say, hopefully, you can just turn this off because I wouldn't want to play with.
I don't think it's automated. I don't think what they're talking about is we're just going to have it if you don't do anything, it's still going to press the A button. I think it's going to have to be it will guess on the back end what button you're going to press, so that if you hit that and initiate it, it cuts down on the time. I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
It's not like there's a monkey on the other end jamming on the A button for you. I don't know. I mean, this is big pie in the sky kind of ideas for gaming, which we don't even have any idea. It could be that. What if they just let the damn games play themselves for you and you just sit there and watch? Right. It's even better than YouTube and Twitch. Right. You just watch the game beat itself.
We've got one coming into the office here in a few weeks, so I'll look forward to kind of cracking it open and starting to play with it a little bit more.
And Baltimore makes a good point. It could be packet loss that they're going to try to address so that just in case it doesn't get a response, it can instantly, within a millionth of a second, go, okay, press A because I didn't see that packet.
I don't... Sure.
Who knows?
Yeah.
They just
I guess that wasn't how I read the headline of this. So... Because I don't think most people even know what packet loss is, right?
Right, but why would they talk that way either? You know what I mean? Because if it's just going to be confusing and make people question things, then why put that information out? They're just saying, magically, we're going to start reading your mind.
Right.
Well, Google knows more about everybody on this planet than anything else, so they probably do know what you're thinking, and they probably do know what the button presses are going to be, so it'll be interesting. That's something that was announced this week, just to put people, fears at bay about, streaming tech. And then lastly, Red Dead Redemption finally, not Red Dead Redemption, but Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to be on PC.
Right.
So it'll be the first time that they've brought this franchise over from the Rockstar world, from console into PC. It's going to be on Rockstar's Social Club publishing backend, so you're going to be able to buy it direct.
Correct.
It's going to be on Epic.
Yep.
for the same day, so they launch together.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be exclusive to Epic for a month, roughly.
Right.
And then it's going to come to Steam.
Humble and Steam.
Yeah. So, should be interesting. You know, obviously, it's a beautiful game.
I'm sure it'll look
I have to
great.
imagine that on PC it can take advantage of like ridiculous power.
Oh, yeah.
Right, in that sense. But we'll see. I'll wait until it comes on to Steam to buy it.
The game looks phenomenal on the machines that are on, or that it's on available on now. So I imagine, I mean, with a 2000 series RTX, you're gonna be humming along just fine.
Yeah,
Right.
I think you'll be able to do some amazing things with it.
Yeah.
It's gonna look good. But it was. I said it was a slow news week. It's kind of a weird news week. It's like there were some big things announced, but overall, like I think the storm is over for announcements. Now it's just people getting ready to deploy.
Right.
And you've got a couple big games. So next week coming, there's a few small games that are launching that are notable, like around the launch of like Zombieland 2, which is coming out for the movie. So the game's launching.
Right.
Not going to be a big game, but
Right.
We'll still launch. But the real stuff is like Outer World launches the following week, Luigi's Mansion the week after that, or the same week, I'm not sure. It's like 31st.
Right.
And then you've got Death Stranding, Pokemon, all
Right.
the other stuff starts to fire off through the holiday.
Star Wars, Pokemon,
Star Wars, yep.
Sony's thing.
I ended up being able to get the collector's edition of Death Stranding.
The one with the pod?
Yeah. For a damn good deal.
Okay.
Trust me. So I wouldn't have bought it otherwise.
Okay.
So I was able to come across that. You've seen the recommended specs. They are high. I could imagine. I mean, I would have to think like they are probably toying around with like no less than a 980.
The game's like 150 gigs.
Oh, sure.
Out the gate, and I don't even know what of that is the online part. So
Probably half of it.
And then I know that it sounds like it's smaller in scope, but there's some additional like bounty hunts and a couple story missions that you get. I don't think it's anything earth-shattering. It doesn't really affect the end of the game, is my understanding.
Yeah.
But there's kind of some bonus or additional
I would
stuff.
hope so. I mean, they've got to do something for it. I'm sure that the whatever stuff they put on PC will then eventually roll to like PlayStation and Xbox.
Right.
But
that would be my expectation.
yeah. I mean, this game is going to be like the size and scope of like The Witcher 3.
Right.
Right, in terms of like what's launching on PC. So I'll be impressed to see them pull this off without some mad technical bug that stops it from running on mini PCs or something like that.
Absolutely.
But, that's how it goes. All right, let's go ahead and jump out of news. Good time. We're right on track. Let's see. We want to go to... let's jump over... Do you want to do Space Robinson?
I was going to say, do you want to play Space, since you're a little more familiar with Enter the Gungeon,
Yeah.
and then I can jump on to Castlevania tonight?
Yeah, let me get out of
You want to do that?
There we go. Let's do this. We're going to close that out. Let me close it. We had Castlevania running in the background. So let me shut that down. There we go. And then we'll fire up Space Robinson and check that out. Because that one, we weren't sure when it was going to launch. It's been something that we've spoken with Alawar about. Mm-hmm. And this is part of their, Alawar Premium games?
Yep.
Is that it? So this is a new release for them just this week.
Yeah, this was developed by Luxorix, published by Alawar.
Yep.
Front page on our site.
Good.
You can get the Steam version if you want the game in your Steam collection.
Do you have the chat up? Do you want to throw the link in there?
I will get the chat up.
Yeah. Oh, you don't have it. Okay. Don't worry. I can grab it for
Got
you.
it. Sorry.
Before we start playing, I will throw that up in chat so we can check it out together. But yeah, as Brooks was saying, we have both the base version we have the version that you can try for free from WildTangent.
Yep.
There we go. There's that one, and then we also have the Steam version as well. If you want to buy it, so you have it in your Steam collection, or if you'd rather look at it over there.
Yeah, and then I think
I'll put both in chat.
they both have a launch promotion discount of, I think they're like 10% off, so you can get them for like $8 or $9.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, the game itself, we're going to play it here, but the game itself is based upon, let's just see if we've got all the video settings. Yep. It's similar to Enter the Gungeon,
Right.
or... So I was playing it a little bit, so I'm a little bit further into the game. But you have, a nice design to it. So you have your melee weapon. Mm-hmm. This is Robinson. He started on a ship and he crash landed. So he crashed luckily on the planet that he was aiming for. And now he's just trying to get through this area. And this is really like just a little far into the game.
I was just gonna ask, how like are you? What is this, like 10-15 minutes?
Yeah, probably about 15-20.
Okay.
Oh yeah, no worries. Fixed art. You've got a gun. You pick that up. So, and I don't know. Let's just fire. Yeah, you have a limited amount of bullets, but it can reload itself though when you run out.
Okay, so then when you die, how does that work?
So I haven't died yet.
Oh, okay.
Because that's my thing. I don't die. So you got these floating platforms, which I haven't figured out what that is right now.
Okay.
But essentially, you've crash landed on the planet. You're just kind of making your way through. Oh, I think I need to talk to this person. And now you're trying to get to where you need to be or where you were headed. So you crash landed on a building, and then you're trying to get through there to get to the main area. So the evacuation fleet is ready and waiting for the main takeoff of the landing sector. Okay, that sounds about where we need to go. Now it looks like there's also these... Oops. You can repair things, but you need something to start it off. Now, Enter the Gungeon is a little bit more like straightforward, where you just are going for weapons and then you're going for distance, kind of like what we were playing in Tower 57 when we played that on screen. This seems to have a little bit more story.
And this has also got a...
Looks like we're in our base, basically.
And it's like there's a pretty healthy amount of procedural generation in the levels once you actually start the combat, correct?
Yeah, that's what it seems like. This is what you meant by last week with the house games, lesser known ones like this. Yeah. Yeah, we try to bring in more of everything that we can. We like to do, I'm just going to break all this stuff, get materials. We like to do all sorts of games that we can. It's always nice. Okay, I don't think we have to shoot these. Let's try that. There we go. I ran into a group of enemies, they wiped me out, and I ended up back here. I think that's how it worked out last night. It was late last night, so I was trying to play as much as I could. Okay, let's fire this thing up. You're getting these purple crystals, which are not unlike Iridium from Borderlands 3. But we won't say that they actually are Iridium from Borderlands 3. Okay, here we can take off. I didn't go over this way. Green difficulty configurator. Oh, okay, so this can give you a more challenging map when you go out. Oh, there's tons of hidden gems out there for sure. I agree with that, Baltimore. It's man, there are so many games that launch. 600 a week now, roughly. I think on PC.
We were at our desk. We were talking about this.
Okay, here's your enemies. So these are we got to collect this stuff, but we got to take these guys out too. Go ahead, sorry, Brooks.
Oh no, we were talking about this the other day. That these games come out because what was it? We were talking about Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
Yes.
That like the game came out and 4 days later it was on sale, discounted.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And not like hey, like
and that's a big publisher.
Yeah, that was a big game this year.
Yep. Oh, there we go. Now I got my twin stick. Really? They always love to throw lots of enemies at you when you're playing these games. The further you get in, right? And as Brooks said, it's procedurally generated, so the difficulty, can ratchet up or be a little bit less depending upon what you're dealt. did. Okay, so now I don't have anything, so I think we just got to move forward. It'll load us back into the colony. There we go. Regenerated. And essentially, we can just move forward. Turn power off to all rooms. I don't know what that's for, but can we load our booty into there? Yep, got it.
Yeah.
Can you go full screen? Oh, yep. Is it getting cut off? It is getting cut off. That is weird. I can actually I can fix it first. I don't know why it didn't save that. Give me a second, guys. I don't know why it was cutting off, but we can go full screen too. I just wanted to fix this so when we're into the next game, it'll look right. I don't know why that is. There we go. So now it shouldn't cut off, but actually Brooks and I are sitting over top of the ammo information and all
Your
that
items and
down at the bottom.
grenades,
So we're going to go full screen.
Super full screen.
There we go. Thanks, Baltimore. Okay. Let's grab some of this stuff. Do some of these guys. I don't know if I made it through last night. Again, like I said, you'll be able to get different weapons. But I don't know if I made it all the way through last night where I could go to the next level without dying. Because they get a little tough. Okay, I'm trying to get all the iridium though. Ooh, nice. Ammo galore. Ah, there we go. Bolt gun. Let's try that. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Ooh. You'll feel that in the morning.
It's kind of funny that you refer to it as iridium. It reminds me
It's-
of we used to, for the longest time, when we were all playing Destiny, you came up with the term, we had this term shards, because
Oh, yeah.
in
I
early
remember the
Destiny
shards.
1, when you would delete some of your endgame gear, or most of your endgame gear, you would get these things called Ascendant Shards. And then that just universally became that anytime you deleted anything, it was referred to as shards. And then we started moving games, and we'd be playing like Division, we'd be like shards.
Yeah,
Right.
no, everybody got the same treatment for their game. Like that guy. Give me. Oh no. Oh boy. Come on. Ooh, look at that. Oh, and some health. Sweet.
So what's
I
your
love these games.
what's your ultimate goal as you're playing?
Again, it's a story kind of driven thing. If we'd have started at the beginning, you have a story component where you're trying to further your exploration, but you end up crash landing here.
Okay.
So you got to get back out into space, as far as I'm aware. And you also have these day and night cycles in the game, which is kind of a unique thing where you have like a fog of war effect
Right.
around you. I'm trying to get into this machine. These guys keep spawning. Come on. I don't know where they're spawning from either. Okay, what is this? Jade Nut. It looks like an upgrade or something. Get out of here. Ugh. Okay. The hero creates a poisonous cloud when hit. So these are just passive upgrades or whatever. Or active upgrades. Moon Sugar, using for a first aid kit, creates a ring of fire around the hero. Dash deals damage to enemies. Fits.
So do you only get to pick one?
I think so. Yep. Okay, we'll go with that. Oh yeah, these types of games, they have tons of replayability. No ammo. Oh, that sucks. Can I go back to my other one? Yeah, Baltimore for sure. The replayability in these is spectacular. You can buy one of these games and not have to buy, as long as you're into it, you don't have to buy anything. No. Almost thinking, can I go back? Or is there an exit?
Well,
I guess we'll find out later. Oh, is this what I picked up? Third eye deals damage. Clone 4 died.
so presumably this is now Clone 5?
Continue, yes. So this is where you can make it harder. I think we're having enough effort and loss with without it being that much harder. 92, let's go back in. Yeah, this one's really nice, Fixstar. I mean, if you've ever played Enter the Gungeon, Tower 57, what was the one that we played? Calamity on here, TV show.
Oh gosh,
That one was pretty good. I enjoyed that. That was fun.
Calamity TV.
Yeah, Calamity TV. That was good. Oh man.
Freak Out Calamity.
Freak Out. Sorry. Tower 57 was really good. I enjoyed that too. These are always fun. This is not as far as I'm aware, and we can look this up. I don't think this is a multiplayer game like the other ones were, though.
When I was talking to them about it, as far as I know, it's just single player.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay, that makes sense. There we go.
And also from all our from their premium line, we actually have another game kind of sitting. We haven't decided when we're going to launch it yet, but we have another game called I'm Not a Monster, which is more of a strategy game. So
yeah, I'm Not a Monster is an interesting one.
So I think
it's a multiplayer strategy game.
It is, and they sent us so we've got keys for the multiplayer and single player campaign, and they also gave us a just standalone single player campaign.
More weapons? No, I don't have other weapons. It's lost back down. That told me. Yeah, no, they've been Alawar, for years was a casual developer for us.
Right.
And then they picked up and wanted to start doing more core type games. And they've done a pretty good job. So.
I still think out of everything from them, my personal favorite's got to be Do Not Feed the Monkeys.
Yeah.
Which is just all kinds of comedy when you're playing.
Yeah, Do Not Feed the Monkeys is pretty good. I liked Distrust. I thought that was okay.
That was, yeah.
This big guy. Oh, no. Okay. I want to kill this guy, but I'm afraid he's like a little too tough. He sends out his little minions. Get out of here. Oh, we got him. Oh, he didn't drop anything. I thought he was dropping like green glob of goo or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, I've always appreciated the indie games. I knew that would be him. Knew that would be the end of that. Okay, let's see. We don't have anything. I guess maybe we end up losing the stuff we collect. I think we've got to fill up this machine, though. That's the first step in success. But, because some of these doors are locked right now, we can't even get into. We can go here, and we can't even use these things right now. These different fabricators, I guess they were. I don't know what they are. They make your upgrades and different things like that. Okay, let's go one more round here. Desert Plain, 1. Ooh. Oh, that guy can kill the other guys. That's good. Ooh, lots of iridium. Yeah, that's the perfect enemy. He just kills everything. Indiscriminately. Oh. Man. There we go. Alright, let's see. Can we... How many did we need? We needed 300? Or 500.
500.
And we are at 250, I think. Those guys suck. Oh, my gosh, those guys. Okay. Lots of ammo. And a new gun. Auto SMG. Oh, yeah. Oh, and they ricochet. Sweet. Oh, but damn. That ammo. That goes fast.
What is it actually called? Do we know what the
I don't know
stuff's
what it's called.
Okay.
Nice. Oh, come on. I'd like to see if there's... Oh, you end up getting killed. Do you want to give it a run?
Sure.
I'd like to see if we could get... a little bit further, but I think it's one of those games where it's like a Dark Souls, you know, a little bit further,
Chip
a little
away,
bit
chip
further,
away,
chip
chip
away.
away.
Oh, actually, I was going to say go over to that thing. Yeah, like Dark Souls and that. You know, it was kind of funny. I've been, you know, we showed off the Surge 2 last week, and I've been addicted to that game. I think that's one of the better Souls-like games to come out in a long time.
I had a lot of fun when we were playing it. It had that level of challenge to it that I was kind of looking for.
They are relentless, that's for sure, Baltimore. Yeah, no, the Surge 2, fantastic game. I really am impressed with Focus Home Interactive. I mean, they basically came out of nowhere with the Surge, which kind of was okay. There was nothing fundamentally wrong with it. It just was not refined or fine-tuned.
Sure.
But, man, the Surge 2 is like playing a future version of Dark Souls.
Right.
Right?
That was when I first saw the Surge, the first one.
Yeah.
That was kind of the hook of it, was I was kind of like, instead of the, you know, Victorian or fantasy, it was like kind of in that futuristic.
Oh, yeah.
And then I remember playing it, and you and I were like, okay, like, you know, game did reasonably well. Let's see what they do when they've got, you know, a little more budget. They've got a little bit more of a following. Got a little more time, right? Oh.
There you go. Flat out dead. I was gonna say, yeah, I tried to drop some of your... Oh, so you do lose it. If you try to, like, go to the next round, you lose what you have. Okay. I was curious if that's how they were working it. Like I said, I always like those types of mechanics, but I'd also like you to have more of a risk-reward scenario where it's like the more you're carrying around, the more you get if you complete, like, your objective.
It's like a multiplier effect of some kind.
Yeah, for sure. I am going to try. We're going to try one last throw here to see if we can get... While Brooks is playing, I'm going to do this. And if it works, we're going to test something. I don't know. I've never done this. But we'll see if we can get Castlevania to run right. On this machine. And it's not Castlevania, it's the actual game. Or it's not the game, it's the actual hardware that's causing us issues tonight. But we'll see. We've got probably another 10 minutes of this before we jump into one of the Castlevanias. If we can get Lords of the Shadow running, I'd love to show that.
Right.
But equally as impressive as Mirrors of Fate, which is a pretty cool one. Far more reminiscent of, like, the traditional Castlevania we're all used to.
Right.
And don't forget, we also have there was also the launch of Castlevania the Collection, which we also have.
Anniversary, yeah.
So that gave you access to even Kid Dracula, which has never been in the U.S., which was funny.
Because we launched that and Contra Anniversary in like mid-August.
Yeah, Konami woke up from whatever they were doing whatever they weren't doing with Silent Hill, and decided to put out some amazing collections for the Switch and PC.
Right.
And did they have it on? It's not on console. It's not on PS3 or PS4 and Xbox. I don't think. I think it's only Switch and PC. I have to look that up.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I might be wrong with that, but I don't remember. Let's see. Sometimes there's just weird things like that they do. Maybe it's only digital download. That's what it is for PS4.
Okay.
That's what it is. Yeah. All of them are digital download. Sorry. You know, that, like, kind of throws it in the face of, like, the physical collectors out there, but it's hard to say there's a future of physical products. You know, with the new ones coming, it's only going to get less and less.
Yeah, I mean, especially, you know, just in the case of, like, Red Dead, 150 gigs. What's that? Like 2 Blu-ray discs?
That is 1 month of me trying to download it at my house.
Right. You know, so I feel like...
I don't even know. Could they fit 150 gigabytes on a Blu-ray disc?
You need 2.
What's the capacity? 50?
Well, because I know that, like, Last of Us, they've also said the same thing. The game it's too big for 1 Blu-ray. And that's like...
I can see that, but I'm just wondering what a Blu-ray capacity is. Because it used to be, like... What was it, 8?
Well,
that was...
I thought it was 50 a layer, 2 layers.
That's only 100. So you would need 2. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. I get you.
Don't super quote me on that. Numbers, it might only be 75, but...
I don't know, man. False information. Fake news over here.
What I'm here for. Okay, so I have no ammo. Great.
Start swinging that Bioshock wrench. The wrench is just synonymous with, like, melee weapons in the video game world. After Bioshock did it. Well, I don't even know. Wasn't System Shock, did it have a wrench?
Well, didn't this all come out of Half-Life with the crowbar?
That was a crowbar, yeah.
Right.
I was thinking more of like a wrench.
Okay.
Yeah, Doom didn't really have... Neither did Wolfenstein a melee weapon. They were all shooting weapons.
Yeah, and I think their melee was the chainsaw in Doom.
That's true. Yeah, they
Right.
did have that. That's true. They did have the chainsaw. That's where the chainsaw's popularity really picked up.
What a funny video game item. Someone sat in a room. It was like, what would make this? What would
make the most, like, noise?
Right.
Or
Yeah.
Most aggression. Well, we know who sat in the room. It was Carmack, and it was Romero. Yeah. So. Oh, that looks like something. Can you pick that up? Because you do have a way to garden in this for what? I don't know.
Well, there's some type of crafting system.
Yeah, there's crafting for sure, but there's a garden that you can grow, so I'm thinking, like, maybe it's health items? Or if it's crafting items like you were thinking? I don't know. And you've got this meter up on the top that's filling up.
The red thing?
No, the yellow thing. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's the amount of experience? Or if that's the stuff you're picking. Oh, you know, that might be the day-night cycle indicator. That might be what that is.
Well, I guess we're going to find out here shortly.
Yeah. I didn't notice that when I was playing it before, but I see it now and I'm thinking, like, okay, that could be in it. Because down in the right-hand corner is where your, I'm calling it iridium, is located. Oh, there's a weapon there, too. it's like a
grenade launcher.
Yeah. Sorry, I had the chat hidden for a second. The whip in Castlevania. That's also another one that's synonymous. Yeah, it's like whips are for vampires.
Yep.
Chainsaws are for aliens. Isn't that what Doom? No, those are demons. In Doom.
Yeah.
So Brooks found a new thing too that he's into, which is the cold brew coffee.
Yep.
And I took him over to Starbucks to have nitro cold brew.
Yeah, I started in.
And then we got him a Starbucks credit card.
I started in kind of early, and I was already tired from yesterday, so I'm dragging a little bit tonight. I'm trying to catch my.
How many cold brews did you drink? 2 of those bottles?
Dude, I'm pushing like 80 ounces of coffee today. And I'm still tired.
You ever see that Fry episode where he drinks 100 cups of coffee and time stands still?
I know. I know of it.
I love Futurama. That was one of my favorite shows. It kills me that it's no longer on the list. Like, why did The Simpsons last as long as that? I don't get that. I was never a Simpsons fan, but Futurama, I was a big fan of it. I mean, it's all the same creator, too. But... And now he's got that new one.
Yeah, didn't he have a Netflix show?
Yeah, it's like a... what is it called? It's like a medieval...
It's like fantasy.
Yeah, high fantasy or something like that. It's supposedly fun. My son likes it. He watches it. You like the vanilla frappuccino? Oh, cold brew? Or just frappuccinos? Because frappuccinos are cold.
Yeah.
But they're not coffee. Like, they're more milk and, like, sweetener.
Sugar
and
and caramel and a little bit of whipped cream and frosting. And
yeah, I don't mind a frappuccino. Those are good. The strawberry ones were always good, too. But, yeah, the cold brew coffee. I'm not a fan of cold coffee anyhow.
Well, it started here a weekend ago where I was out driving around, I was running errands, and I was dragging pretty tough, and I not only cut out sugar just in general, but then kind of like some artificial sugar. So like you go into a gas station and there's not a lot of options. And
right.
At the office, I've got those Talking Rains that have caffeine in them. And it's just like, it's only 50 a can, so to get you through the day, it's like, I mean, you're putting down...
Easily a case.
A half rack of stuff or whatever. I think it's a Super Bowl party.
I know, it's like you're talking about beer or something.
So I was sitting there and I was like, okay, I had this cold brew stuff, and in the past, all my experience with coffee had been like lattes or like espresso with foam or whatever. And
yeah.
I tried one of those, and that's like, So that was kind of how that happened, and then... I was like, man, they're a little pricey when you buy them in just like the single 10-ounce little can jar things, right? Because they're like $4 or $5 each. So that got expensive quick. So then I went on a hunt to try to find a bigger version of it. But even that, still $5 a day or whatever when you buy those big ones. So then our buddy Scott, he was like, well, if you're going to do this at home, here's the real way you do it, right?
Right.
So...
Oh, you got an upgrade?
But yeah, so we went over to we have like 4 Starbucks within a rock's throw distance basically over
here
in Bellevue. So we went over there and I tried the well, for a second I really wanted that salted caramel to like not be a sugar thing.
I don't know how that you were thinking, because that's what caramel is.
I thought it was going to be like hints of caramel. Right, but then you were like, no, like we were sitting there looking at the calories of it before we even ordered, so.
Yeah. After this one, you want to jump out? Oh, there you go.
Oh.
That's what that indicator was at the top. It's like a day-night cycle.
Okay.
As it goes. So, that's Space Robinson. It's from our friends over at Alloar. They just put it out. You can check it out. See what you think. It's actually, it's not too long to get into the beginning part of the game. So since we give you 30 minutes, you should be able to get plenty of like actual shooting playing time in. It's really quick in the beginning to get through.
It's pretty quick.
Yeah. So let's see. Why don't you exit out of that? I'm going to try this trick that I'm thinking I might be able to do, but the one problem, if this works, I may need to use your PC to read chat if you've got that up, if you don't mind.
Sure. So you want me to play?
Yes, and I'll be looking at your chat screen, but let's see if this works. This is going to be a little bit of a trick to see if this will run. So
did we figure out, are we on corporate Wi-Fi? Are we on the building's Wi-Fi? Or did we get our...
I don't even know. Okay. I don't even know.
Okay.
I'm just thinking this may work. Because this game came out in October of 2010.
Okay.
Although it sounds old, it's actually not a dated game at all. It's actually really nice. Okay, so let's see. I'm on that machine. I'm going to hit stream. We're going to do this. Oh, there was an update. Of course there's always an update. Well, we can sit here and chit-chat.
Why
Yeah. It's a Steam update kind of thing. So we'll see if it actually takes the update. It's an audio driver, so it must be that it can play the audio across. I don't know what this is going to sound like either, in terms of like if it will cause a problem, if it won't. We're going to test it. Otherwise, we can default to what we wanted to do, or what the other game that we have, which is Mirror of Fate. But being that Lords of Shadow came out first and it references stuff,
right?
It's kind of a, not that we're going to be that far into it, but it's kind of a little bit of a thing. Okay, so let's give this one more try. Something's going on. So we'll see. Or did I actually click onto the other game because it's not doing anything? It's an audio driver, so it must be that it can play the audio across. I don't know what this is going to sound like either, in terms of like if it will cause a problem, if it won't. We're going to test it. Otherwise, we can default to... No. Ultimate Edition. Okay, one more time. Might have just needed to warm up. Okay, setup. It says stop over here. Far into it, but... Started kind of something. Okay. A little bit of a thing. Okay, so let's give this one more try. Come on. No! Alright, so because it did this update... Oh. That is why. And I think it has to do with the WeWork.
That would be my expectation. Yeah.
Yeah, let me see. Oh. And this thing has no internet. How does that happen? It was talking to it though. Let me try and throw my laptop onto Corp Network. And I'm going to restart this. Sorry, folks. We're just trying to see if we can make this work. I'd be curious, because it's kind of an interesting way to do it. We're trying to, just so everybody knows, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to run the game on my laptop, which doesn't sound like it would be a good idea, but my laptop's actually a pretty decent gaming machine.
Yeah, it's got like a 960.
It's like a 960 in it. It should easily be able to run this game. But we're trying to then stream it to our PC that normally plays all the games, so our dedicated gaming PC. And then, because it's the thing that has the problem with the graphics card or whatever the issue is, the Windows update or something like that, because it doesn't get the updates the exact same way as like a personal PC would, because it's on our corporate network. So it's kind of a little strange. Okay, now it's starting up with that. Brooke's mic is muted.
How long has
it's
that
hard
been
to
on
get
mute?
it's
Awesome.
hard to get good help around here.
Yeah, well.
Thank you, Baltimore, for pointing that out.
That had to have been on mute for a minute.
Nice.
Great.
Okay, let's try it now. Since we're up and running, let's make sure we've got the right machine. Click stream. The graphics card or whatever the issue is.
Says it's
Or the Windows update or something like that.
wanting
because
to do it.
It doesn't get the updates the exact same way as
I think
like
it's the network here is
personal
not going to
PC,
allow it to happen.
because it's on our corporate network.
I think that's the problem.
So it's kind of a little strange.
Okay.
Okay, now-
Well, we can.
Yeah, we'll just run with our
can-
other game.
we
We
can-
already had that one in, so
We can play Mirror of Fate.
yep. We're going to fire that up right now. We gave it a good try. I will make sure to figure out why we're having issues by the next show. Okay.
Well, hopefully by next show we
Let's jump
are
over here.
just back on our fiber line.
Yeah, that would be nice. Okay, so you're going to play this one?
Sure.
Okay, let's jump in. You got the controller, right? So, to bring you up to speed, I think we already kind of talked about it a little bit. You can choose two. Yeah, that was a brand new one. I don't know if it synced up the gameplay or not. So, this game was made in 2013. The PC version of this, the HD version, I guess it would be, came out in 2014. So, this was originally for a Nintendo portable system, converted over to HD on the PC,
Right.
and it all takes place about, I guess it takes place about a year before Lords of the Shadow.
Okay.
In terms of that.
Well, you were saying
you're
that,
Gabriel Belmont.
you were
right here
saying
in the
that
beginning.
Lords of the Shadow references this game.
Yes.
Right.
No, this game references Lord of the Shadow.
Sorry, that's what I meant.
So you're playing as Gabriel Belmont right now. This is the grandfather of Simon Belmont from the original Castlevania. So he, and funny enough, the name Belmont is basically an orphan. And because the monks that raised him, or the order that raised him, they gave him the name Belmont. So that's how he got that. It's not a real, it's a family name, but it's a given family name, funny enough. You've got very similar moves, even though it's a side-scroller, to what you would have in Lords of Shadows, which is more like a God of War style game.
Where you play more in a full 3D space,
Yes.
as opposed to 3D graphics on like a 2D plane.
Yeah, they did a good job with this one, Baltimore. They actually made it look really, really solid. I played a good bit of it the other night. Now, I'd played Lords of Shadow a long time ago. Played through it. I really enjoyed it. And it was on all consoles. It was on Xbox 360 at the time, PS3, PC. Well, PC it came later, obviously, because Konami finally got into like doing updates and things like that. But this game was only ever on PS3 as a downloadable, not in their store, but connected to the collector's editions of Lords of the Shadow. So if they can't make it any more complex and problematic, they put it on a disc. It was a download code, and it was only available as a download from the download code. You couldn't buy it in the store. Why they did it that way, I don't know.
That makes my head hurt to even think about that.
They chose to do it that way for whatever reason. But they luckily did bring it to PC, so you can play Mirrors of Fate HD on PC.
It's been a minute since I've played a full Castlevania, and even the most recent one I played was because I played Bloodstained.
Yeah,
here
which is, you know,
a couple of months back.
I mean, it's a
Spiritual
successor to it. That's for sure. I mean, Bloodstained was an amazing game too. I mean, they did a pretty good job with that whole product, even though it was, done, I wouldn't say on a shoestring budget, but definitely not a major publisher budget.
Right.
Right. They had to do a Kickstarter to be able to get the money to make Curse Moon
The first game to fund the next
then to be able to fund
thing.
the next thing.
Right.
So, here's the now. Some of these characters also play a role. So that's Pan, and he plays a role in Lords of the Shadow as well.
The mirror has shown you Gabriel's fate.
And
must protect
the
the child
woman
from
that's
his
with the
father.
child,
Trevor
so
and
that
his
is
legions
Gabriel
will be the only
Belmont's
ones capable of
wife.
facing him in the future.
And I won't say what happens to her.
Son's survival is the
but
only hope for humanity.
She gave birth to their son, Trevor Belmont. And if you remember, Trevor
We will come
Belmont
for him
was
at
in...
nightfall.
Was it Symphony of the Night?
Well, Symphony was
Alucard. But it was also Trevor Belmont, I thought. You could...
You know much more about the lineage of this.
Oh, it gets so... Yeah, here it is. Son of Gabriel and Maria Belmont. And then his son is Simon Belmont.
Okay.
So, but Trevor Belmont was in... I thought Symphony of the Night. It's been a bit since I played through all of these.
Run, Simon, don't stop.
Let's see.
Keep going to the forest. Don't
Curse of Darkness. No. Trevor Belmont played in 3. Dracula's Curse. He also appears in Castlevania Curse of the Darkness, which I think was a PS2 game. I believe so.
Okay.
So now you're playing as Simon Belmont. And Simon Belmont turned into being Irish.
I've got a whip.
Yeah, now you're back to the original whip. It's a hell of a whip. Yeah, the Castlevania world gets a little bit deep. So, ultimately, Gabriel Belmont is Dracula.
Sure.
That's how it all goes together. Just saying.
Are you kidding?
No.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, it gets a little confusing as you go through, but that's ultimately the whole thing. Yeah, we thought we'd play some of the Undead World now that we're kind of close to the Halloween time of the year. So we're gonna do Castlevania this week. We've definitely got Silent Hill Homecoming as
Right.
another game we can do next week.
We've got Alan Wake floating around.
And we've got Alan Wake. So we've got how many more Thursdays to the end of the month? We've got 3 after today, 3. So I think we'll be able to fit in Silent Hill Homecoming. We'll be able to fit in Alan Wake, and then we may do Symphony or Lords of Shadow 2 or Lords of Shadow 2.
Okay.
Those might be the next games for the next few weeks. But we've always got things launching too. So we launched Trine this week, which is unfortunate that we didn't have a chance to play it here. So it might be one of the games that we show next week.
Well, we launched Ultimate Collection and 4 in
Yes.
tandem, right?
Yeah, so... And I think we did already have Trine 1 on the service.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken. But we do have both of those, so you can actually pick those up. Oh, let me grab the link for Mirror of Fate here as well. I love a good platformer, though. Man, these are... Castlevania is just... Well, I mean, between Castlevania and Metroid, that's where you ended up getting a ton of action RPG.
Right.
Right? They brought in the real deal stuff, for sure. Let's see here. Castlevania. HD, which we have for, if you remember, 12 mil. Castlevania. But, like I said, I wish we could have fit Fate in, or Trine in as well. Fate. Fate's arguing. Trine in as well. Because it's a pretty great game. It's like a platform puzzle. And it's got some really cool stuff. So they just launched that this week. I think this game would have been pretty impressive on a... I think you can whip those barrels, maybe. I think this game would have been pretty impressive on a 3DS.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it looks pretty solid. Actually, this would have been on the DS. 3DS wasn't available in 2013, as far as I know, was it?
Okay, so let me think. The last DS Castlevania I played, I want to say, was Circle of the Moon.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they made a... No, hold on. Sorry.
No, it is a 3DS game.
It is.
So, wow, that would have been like one of the first games for the 3DS. I have to look that up. I don't remember when the Nintendo 3DS launched. Had it been around like 7 years? Almost.
It might have been.
Whew.
Yeah.
Man. Now there's the rumors. The rumor about the Switch.
The Switch Pro, or
Yeah.
whatever they want to call it. Yeah.
The Switch Pro might be a standalone console
Might
for
be
home.
Switchless.
Yeah, no portability, which it's so ridiculous. They had a good thing going. I know where they're at though. It's you can't get the performance out of a portable device like you can something that is big and can sit on a TV plugged into a 4K screen.
Yeah.
You can get good performance, but you can't get the exact same performance. And I think they're, I gotta imagine that. Well, there was a lot of prediction going on, and this is from Wall Street side, that Nintendo's in trouble because the Switch is doing well because it's a gimmick. And now that the PS5 and the Xbox, whatever's going to launch, Project Scarlet, that they're going to be, really far behind. Because in my mind, the Switch is just nothing more than a portable Nintendo Wii,
Sure. Yeah.
right? That's really what it is. Like, yes, there's maybe a little bit more power there.
Or a Wii U.
I mean, really, the Wii U is just a Wii with a screen, secondary screen. Yeah,
And some HD in there, because I don't think Wii was still like composite.
that's right.
Yeah.
The Wii U added a HDMI.
Right.
It wasn't a super powerful system. The only thing they did, they took away GameCube.
Right.
Right? It wasn't like they added. Nintendo's never had a DVD player in it,
Yeah, unless you get to that Panasonic Q thing that they...
which is not a Nintendo device.
Right.
They just leased it out to them. It was a deal between Panasonic and Nintendo, helping them.
And I think that was only... Could you even get that stateside, or was that even... That might have even been Japan only.
I think the Cube was Japan only.
Okay.
Yeah, or the Cube, or whatever.
Panasonic Q.
Panasonic Cube. I'll put this full screen forward. Yeah, so I mean, you couldn't even get that here, so it's been kind of crazy. Yeah, they've been a step behind since the GameCube, for sure. I mean, the GameCube was a great device. We talk about that all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I still play some GameCube stuff. I was just looking for Eternal Darkness, funny enough. I wanted to do that for our other channel.
And I mean, if you really want to get into Eternal Darkness, that was an N64 game that was delayed so many
Right,
times.
that it got pushed all the way to
It got
GameCube.
pushed.
Oh,
Wow.
I think you start
Oh.
right at the top, though. Yeah, you should. You were right in what you did. I think you have to. Get rid of the merman. Yeah, that N64 DVD or I don't think it was a DVD reader. Was there one?
The disc drive?
Well, Baltimore says that there's a DVD reader. I remember the N64 DD, which is a disc drive, like
Yeah.
you said. I don't know of anything else. You might not be able to get up there. Try. Oh, I think you might have to jump one level below, just like fall off and
Okay.
kind of go back around, then you can jump across. Yeah, Eternal Darkness was a great game. It's been a long time since I played it, actually. I'm a big strategy guys, although they're ridiculous and like not really needed. But I collect them, so I just got like a batch today from a guy that I bought them off.
We were talking about that.
And it had Eternal Darkness in it. And I need to get the game. And I actually have like a Nintendo GameCube with like an HDMI mod in it, so it actually has a mod built into it for plugging it into HDMI so you can play it on newer machines. And it looks pretty decent. And I've got the chip in it so you can actually go in and adjust some stuff and force it to 1080 or to 480p or 576p or whatever the UK variant is.
Right.
I think you just drop off the edge and then he'll go down one level. There you go. And then hop over there. Nope, you're right. You're right. You gotta like do one of those things. Like if you try to jump across, I don't think he'll make it. But if you now like put it there, he'll make it. Yeah. He kind of
Ooh,
floated to the
okay.
end.
Okay.
He kind of did the and now fly over there. A little bit of jumping puzzles. But yeah, so with that, I've been interested in like really putting some time into the GameCube because I bought that. I don't know when I bought that. I bought it off a guy on eBay because the mod itself is like ridiculously priced to be able to do this.
Right.
And then I actually wanted it because it was a purple one, and the case was kind of tarnished and all that. But the mod he had was awesome and done really well. So I took a black GameCube that I had, tore it apart, cut out the stuff, and then fit it all back together. And it, it's my Frankenstein machine.
Right.
But it works well. It's got the Game Boy player adapter on the bottom.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I've been looking to play that. But yeah, that's Nintendo, to get back around to that. Yeah, Nintendo's just been one of those things where it's like, just make a 4K system. Put some effort. I know they do a good job, though.
Yeah, their games are always very well developed, but to me, on top of needing to have the powerful, you've also got to have the online infrastructure, which they started this time around. But
That's correct. Yeah.
But while everybody else has been sprinting online for minimum a decade, and a half. So whoa.
Not going that way.
Guess not.
There you go, creeping. The one thing I have to, I don't get it. Like, have you noticed does the jump look weird? You beat this guy. Just try jumping. Like, see how he jumps? It looks wrong to me. His leg moves the wrong way. Like, move forward and jump. It doesn't look like you can do that. That's the only thing I had with this. It was like a little quirk in the game.
What do you mean?
Like the way his feet move, it doesn't look like it when he jumps forward. It should do that. I don't know why. I don't know. To me, it looks weird.
Okay. Go.
He also looks like a werewolf.
Well, he's got this like mane
Yeah.
thing around him. Yeah.
You had a broadband modem that attaches to the bottom. Love playing Phantasy Star. Oh, Phantasy Star Online, yeah. Back on the GameCube and the Dreamcast and the Xbox. Was pretty solid. I agree with you on that, Baltimore. That was a little addicting. I played on Dreamcast a lot. I had the broadband adapter, which didn't really matter. Only one game, I think, used the broadband adapter. It was Quake.
Okay.
On the Dreamcast. It didn't really matter. But the adapter for the GameCube, that allowed you to play online. That game's actually pretty expensive.
They had this great. We sold one of them at the GameStop I worked at. where they had this GameCube controller, but in between it was a full-size keyboard, not a mini keyboard.
Yeah, no, it
I'm
was a
talking
full
this,
keyboard.
this thing was multiple feet wide, and then on the end of it was GameCube controllers.
Yes. It was a little funky. They actually made one for the PlayStation 2 as well.
And yeah, because didn't you? But I think Logitech made it. You could clip the keyboard out, if I recall. Because I had this.
It had 2 wires into it or something like
Yes.
that, and you could disconnect the keyboard. I don't know. It was
Yeah.
for EverQuest.
For FF11. Yeah.
Well, the FF11 and EverQuest
Okay.
for the PS2. And that's where, what was it, the hard drive?
Yes.
Because they started selling that with Final Fantasy 11.
Yep. 4 gig hard drive.
I have heard that there's a resurgence in some of those. So, like, Dreamcast was taken down for a majority of the stuff, but there's actually a group that's built servers to support certain Dreamcast games.
I believe that. I believe that.
If you get into like the forums, you can get invites, and they're doing it every weekend.
Okay.
And they turn these things on, and like all the old Dreamcast, well, some of the old Dreamcast games pop up. He shuffles his feet in the air when he jumps. Yeah, it's But yeah, that was, I remember playing over a broadband. You know, they had SegaNet. You guys remember that? SegaNet was the online, like, AOL version of Sega.
No.
You paid for your own broadband, or you paid for your own dial-up connection through SegaNet.
Yeah, no. I think the first machine I would have had that did it online would have been PS2 was the first game system.
Okay. I was playing, like I said, on Dreamcast I played, and you had to have a dial-up connection. It was SegaNet was your ISP, and it was crappy. It was like worse than most of them. But then the next one that I played online with was the Xbox original.
Yeah.
Xbox Live.
Right, yeah, for sure.
SegaNet was awesome. I don't know if it was. I mean, it was awesome because it was theirs, but I don't know, man. It used to go up and down for me. And I lived in Redmond at the time.
Okay.
And had that, which probably could have had like broadband, but I don't know. It was right on the cusp of broadband being sold.
Okay.
It wasn't like readily available. Yeah, I mean, playing on that, I remember playing a lot of like NBA and NFL, and then what was the other one that I played a lot? Choo Choo Rocket,
Okay.
and there was a tank Alien Nation or Alien something. It was like the first one to have like this microphone that came with it, and you could say something for like 5 seconds, and then it would like beam it out.
Record and send. Or
Yeah,
something
it
like
was
that.
really strange. It was, oh my god, so funny. From back in the day.
I don't really know where I'm supposed to be going right now.
I think to go that way, I think you have to have that way. There it is. Go. Oh, now you have the shield. That's why you can get through. The ghost shield. There are certain spots that you have to have like a certain hook
Right.
to be able to get through. You're still losing health though. Your shield really isn't doing well. Oh, is that another
Hopefully health.
shrine?
Oh,
Nope.
no health.
And you are like at no health. I don't even know if you're. I didn't even know it was capable of being that low. A lot of the stuff in Lords of the Fallen Lords of Shadow looked very similar. You have similar shrines that you walk up to get your health and your experience and stuff like that. You're gonna die on this one. You have to. Oh, did you switch something? Oh, I thought it switched over. Because last time you did that, like... Oh, can you go? So you go to the right, I think you can climb up. How long can he survive, folks? Ugh, still no health. Oh no, you got
Now we're
health back.
full now, yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, because you got to level up. That's why.
I think you mean because of skill, but
Skill.
Yeah.
Okay. Oop. Yeah, you're switching to something.
I'm turning it on and off.
Ah, gotcha.
I think is what I'm.
Oh,
getting
and that's
with
what the
that.
yellow bar represents, is how long she can actually
Yeah.
do the guard, whatever, the ghost can guard you or whatever.
Yeah. So I flip back on.
Where's it want you to push and pull that?
I don't know where we're going.
Nice. Nope, we're back down to where you were. Oh, you're just gonna go straight, yeah. Because you jumped up there last time. Ouch, 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 ouch.
I thought we were going to be able to make it.
Not this time. It does seem like it's something like pushing that block somewhere, right?
I guess we'll see where we're going with this.
Oh. Is it a shortcut? Oh, no, you're taking it to some other spot. Looks like you're going to have just enough or you're not going to have enough. It's going to go to your health now. Oh, you made it. Oh, sweet. Made it to the end.
That'd have sucked if I made it through last time without the block.
Yeah.
Just stayed alive.
Been like, what do I do now? Oh, there's a health thing. Yeah, you find those which look very similar to the ones that are in God of War.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely took a good model to build Lords of the Shadow off of.
Creative liberties.
Yeah, of course.
So let's. Where are we going here? Go.
Which, I mean, you look at Lords of the Shadow, it's this way. You look at Devil May Cry, it's like God of War. It's like, you know, there's franchises that kind of take creative models and build their own. Did you ever play like the old original Castlevanias?
The first one I played would have been, I guess we'll call it Dracula's Curse, so I believe that would have been 3, which was a NES game.
Yes.
Yeah, that was probably the first one I played.
And then you played probably.
And then from there I moved on to a SNES.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it would have been what was on SNES. And then I want to say I probably took some kind of break for N64 when they first tried to take Castlevania 3D.
Those ones? Yeah, they were pretty rough. Okay, I was just pulling up the full list Castlevania game, so we'll go through this.
It's huge.
It is.
It's huge.
I know that. Okay, so let's see here. Where is the full list? This is the full list. Holy cow, that's massive. Okay, it's going to take us a while. First game came out, Castlevania. Originally released in Japan first, in 86.
Okay, I believe that.
And then in the US, it was in 87.
Okay. So, me and Baltimore were one.
Yeah. Vampire Killer, which was an MSX release, MSX2.
A system that I never actually.
It never came to the US anyway. Yeah, it wasn't a
Yeah,
system.
a system I never even played. I'm only aware of it.
So I would take it that probably was the same game.
Okay.
Because it released in 86 as well. So I guess that would just be their variant. And then Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest. This is the first one that came into the RPG world. That released in 87 in Japan and in 88 in the US and not until 90 in Europe. It seems like a long time.
I wonder why.
I don't know.
I wonder if that was a content thing. Some kind of like rating or content or themes.
It doesn't say anything why it couldn't be there, so yeah, who knows. Haunted Castle, which was an arcade version of Castlevania. That came out in the arcades in 88 across the world, pretty much. Just a little bit of staggered between some ones. Japan, US. Japan, North America. Castlevania the Adventurer. This was a Game Boy game. It's actually in the Castlevania collection. And that came out in 89 in both the Japanese market and the North American market, and in 91 in Europe. So Europe was always getting the shaft. Yeah, they weren't getting much. Yeah, I mean, there's always a little bit of delay, especially for a Japanese-based game.
Well, and I think some of that stuff is kind of,
Translation.
and it's also becoming a little less common now that a lot of games they just release and
Yeah.
you know,
A little bit closer to your memory is time. Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse, 89 in Japan, 90 in the US, or North America, 92. I guess because the Nintendo really wasn't, so the NES was not popular in Europe. The NES was popular in the US, the North American market. The Famicom is popular in Japan.
right.
Sega was more popular in Europe. The Master System did really well there.
Okay.
Because they went with a local, I do remember this story. Sega went with a local company that was based in the UK to distribute the Master System in Europe. So they were able to get a better foothold.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do remember hearing that story. Dio's welcome. It's your bedtime again. Well, we appreciate you stopping. Thank you. Yeah, I know. A little bit low today. We were just kind of recounting the Castlevania franchise. Let's see. So the next one, we left off with Castlevania 3. Akamujo Special Baku Dracula.
Okay.
Japan 1990, North America 2011. That's a hell of a difference. A 21-year-old leap.
Break.
Yeah. So that came out on the Famicom in 90 and the mobile phone in 2006. There's a bit of a distance there. I don't know where they got 2011 at for North America. I don't know. Maybe it was like something for that. Well, we appreciate that, Diaz. Thank you. I appreciate you swinging in. You always say it's like later your time. If we could, we'd make it a little bit earlier, but it doesn't work out for us because we actually have to finish our regular job. and then come in here and do this. But we appreciate you stopping in. Then you've got Castlevania 2 Belmont's Revenge. So not Simon's Quest, but Belmont's Revenge. And that was on the Game Boy. So that was 91 in both U.S. and North American and Japanese markets. And then Europe was 92. Super Castlevania 4, which we talked about, Super Nintendo. 91 for both Japan and North America. Only a 2-month span in between them. And then Europe was 92. And you had Kid Dracula, which we talked about earlier. It comes on the Castlevania collection. That was 93 across the board. So that all came out at the same time. But I don't really remember the North American version. Guess because it was on the Game Boy. That's why. I didn't really care for the Game Boy. I know a lot of people did. I thought the Sega Game Gear was a much better system. And then the Atari Lynx, which was horrible, I bought into that.
Well, Game Gear looked better, and it had the really nice screen with it.
Yeah, it had a colored screen, backlit.
I think what Game Boy probably had going for it, and I think this is true of a lot of people, or I mean, especially like in my circle of friends and people I knew.
Yeah.
For the longest time, video games were Nintendos. So like PlayStation to my mom was a Nintendo.
Right.
Right. You know what I mean? So
that's what they just call it.
So they kind of had their foothold in the living room. So when the portable one came out, I'm not totally certain of this, but I think this might kind of be the case.
Okay.
So, and then it was sort of like, you know, Sega, as far as anybody was concerned, or at least in my household, was a black Nintendo, right?
Right.
You
Yeah,
know?
that's true.
So
that was the exact same idea.
but yeah, Game Gear looked really good, ran through batteries really good.
Yeah, I
Right.
remember that. It was a battery machine. Let's see here. So, Castlevania Chronicles, that came out on the Sharp X68000. I remember I've seen Sharp. They actually made it was like a PC. Essentially, it was specifically it would run all these like fantastic like modules that would connect to it to make gaming better. Then in 2001 it came to the PlayStation, and then the PlayStation Network in 2008. Chronicles launched in Japan. It was only a Japanese version in '93, and in North America in 2001 it came to PlayStation. Castlevania Rondo of Blood. That was the PC engine or the TurboGrafx.
Right.
That was a Super CD-ROM. And that launched in '93 over to Japan. Didn't come here to the US until 2007 on the PS3. Or PS Portable, sorry. The PSP.
And that was like that Mega Man Maverick Hunter X game where they had used like the 3D style.
Quasi 2.5D.
What was the other one? Ghosts and Goblins had done something similar, right? Where they had taken these older franchises and kind of re-envisioned them to make them look updated but play similar.
Yeah. Then they went to Castlevania Dracula X. Now this is starting to all sound familiar. Super Nintendo obviously had that. That was the second one on Super Nintendo. That was '95. And it made its way to Europe in '96. Castlevania Symphony of the Night. This was a big one for PlayStation. This is what I remember, like the resurgence of Castlevania for PlayStation.
I think, like,
'97.
widely considered one of the best Castlevania games by a lot of people. Yeah.
Except if you played it on the Sega Saturn,
Which I did not.
which was horrible. And then it made its way to all the like the downloadable. Castlevania Legends was '97. That was a Super game. Or it was a Game Boy game that supported the Super Game Boy adapter. Remember that. That was '97 and '98. And they were still making Game Boy games that late. That thing lasted 88 to like 2000. No, 88 to like 98 or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Ridiculous. Castlevania on the 64 was 1999. Actually, this is interesting. So, Castlevania on the 64 launched in 98 in the North America region and 99 in Japan and Europe. So it launched later than North America. Then there was a second game, 99, later in 99. This was Castlevania Legacy of Darkness for the 64. That was the second one. And it launched in Japan in 99. So Japan saw 2 Castlevanias launch for the 64 in 1 year. In March of 99 and December of 99.
See, I kind of took a break on Castlevania, and then it wasn't until they came out with the DS versions
Yeah.
that I sort of picked them back.
Gotcha.
So there was some in there
makes sense.
that I've heard of, but I don't think I've actually played a couple of.
Well, here's the ones that I don't remember, because this went into, like, a little bit more like PS2 era.
Okay.
Castlevania Circle of the Moon.
I played that.
That was on Game Boy Advance.
Yes.
That was 2001. 2002 saw Harmony of Dissonance.
Yep.
And that was on Game Boy Advance. Mm-hmm. Then you went to Castlevania Area of Sorrow. Mm-hmm. And that was on Game Boy Advance in 2003. So it was like back to back to back.
These were all kind of born in the vein of Symphony of the Night. That's what where
Yeah.
they were like RPG and they had the whole open castle design.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then there was Castlevania Lament of Innocence, which was on PlayStation 2 in 2003. And it made its way to PlayStation Network on the PS3.
And I want to
In
say
2012.
that was like a 3D, not amazing one.
Yeah, no. Then you had Dawn of Sorrow for the DS. Finally, we're getting
Correct.
into some things. 2005. Curse of Darkness for the PlayStation 2 and Xbox in 2005. Castlevania Portrait of Ruin. I remember that on the Nintendo DS in 2006. Man, they just were like bang, bang. Castlevania Order of Shadows. Now, this is a mobile game.
Okay.
2007. This was not an iPhone game. This was a mobile game. Like we dealt with it.
Like J2ME
J2ME
type of
world.
stuff. Right, yeah.
Then you had Order of Excelsior? That was Nintendo DS in 2008. Castlevania Judgment on the Wii in 2008.
That doesn't sound like that was fun.
Got the whip action.
Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh.
Dracula the Metal game? I don't know what this is. It's something that happened in 2008. I don't even know what it is. Akumajo Dracula the Metal. And it says it came out on Metal Game. I don't know if that was like some system that we never saw. Here's where Konami got like into their world of today. Pachi Slot Akumajo Dracula Slot Machine 2009.
Slot machine, pachinko stuff.
Exactly.
Not gambling, pachinko.
I remember 64 back in the day as well, but I didn't care for it. Castlevania the Arcade in 2009, it was for arcades. In Japan only. Castlevania the Adventure Rebirth, that was WiiWare 2009. Remember WiiWare? That was the downloadable.
I tried not, but
Brooks might beat this game, yeah, I know. Another slot machine. It was basically Dracula 2 in 2010. Castlevania Puzzle Encore of the Night. That was iOS and Windows Phone.
that sounds
2010
that
and
sounds like it's
2011.
like some match 3, but with the Castlevania paint.
It's
or
what it
something.
sounds like to me as well, yeah. Puzzle game for iPhone based on Symphony of the Night.
Okay, puzzle game. Yeah, for sure.
Interesting. Or falsely. Castlevania Harmony of Despair. These were both Xbox Live Arcade and PlayStation Network. This was the one that's like 4 people can play at the same time.
I remember that.
And it
Okay.
zooms in and out.
I remember that. Yeah.
I have that on PS3. That was 2010, 2013. Or, sorry, that was 2010, 2011. Castlevania Lord of Shadows. This was PlayStation 3, Xbox 360. That's the one we're talking about. Lords of Shadows. Was yeah. Then you had, they brought a third slot machine out, Dracula 3.
Of course they did.
2012. Castlevania Lord of Shadows Mirror of Fate, which is what we're playing right now, 2013. This was for 3DS, Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and then 2014 it came to PC. Lords of Shadow 2, 2014, PC, PS3, Xbox 360. Then you had another slot machine in 2015. And then you had another slot machine in 2017. And yeah, that's been about it. The last Castlevania game was Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2.
Okay.
True Castlevania game, not a slot machine. And then there's been, I think compilations and collections. Like the last true Castlevania was Castlevania Anniversary Collection, which we have, which is basically a collection of other games.
Right.
PlayStation 4 saw Castlevania Requiem, which was Rondo of Blood and Symphony of the Night, which you can download.
Okay.
PlayStation Portable saw the Dracula X Chronicles, which I do have that one. The Castlevania Double Pack was on Game Boy Advance. That was Harmony of Dissonance and Aria of Sorrows. And then Konami's collection series Castlevania and Contra back 2002 on PC. Which, funny enough, probably isn't something that will run any longer. I would imagine that one died off. There were some canceled Castlevanias, since we've got a few more minutes.
Some canceled ones.
They really, Konami's really cashed in on the slot machine business. Slot machines and mobile is where they went to. That's why you don't see any more Silent Hill. That's why you don't see any more Castlevania. That's why you don't see any more Contra. Well, you saw Contra Corpse, but whatever it is. Not a great Contra.
The last Metal Gear thing that they made was like a pachinko machine.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So that's kind of where they've went to. They like pachinko and slots.
Where you at, Blue Point?
Yeah, Blue Point's done some great work for them. I'd love to see Blue Point do a the Metal Gear 4. That's only available on PS3.
Yeah, you could do 3, you could do 4. Right. Take your pick, do both.
Any of them. They teamed up with Big Fish for a match 3 game. Doesn't surprise me.
No, they didn't.
It doesn't surprise me. I don't know.
Are you kidding?
That's what Baltimore said.
Oh.
I don't know which one it would be. So the canceled titles were Castlevania 32X. They canceled that.
Okay.
I don't know why.
I believe that. Okay.
It was going to be something close to Symphony of the Night in '96. Castlevania Resurrection, which was for Dreamcast, and they were going to do for 2000. Well, they didn't like Sega at all. They didn't put anything out on a Sega machine. Akumujo Dracula, which was shown off at TGS 2008, so Tokyo Game Show 2008. It was for the 360 and PS3. So it never really got a name. But it was first attempt to reboot the franchise prior to Lords of the Shadow. And then they probably just gave up and did Lords of the Shadow, which was a far more like current style of Castlevania. And then Castlevania Symphony of the Night for the Game.com, which was a Tiger handheld electronics device, which did actually see Resident Evil on it. It was Resident Evil 2. So if you really want to look something up, look up Tiger Electronics, Game.com, Resident Evil 2. It's
Game.com, is
fantastic.
that the thing where all those executives went to jail?
No, you're thinking of the...
What was that?
You're thinking of...
The dude that wrecked the Ferrari. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Ericsson.
Yeah.
Lars Ericsson. You're thinking of... what was that device? It was a little handheld... God, I can't remember that thing. We talked about it. I showed...
It's got a really funny name too.
Yeah. No. Tiger Electronics, they're still around. Yeah, Big Fish, well, they don't do a lot of... Big Fish doesn't do a lot of our Match 3s. They do a lot of the hidden object games we have. on the service. I have seen them do a match 3, but years ago. I haven't seen any lately. I don't know. But yeah, what was that thing? That was called the. It had GPS built into it. That was one of the biggest selling, and it had a cell phone connection. So you had to have a cell phone card. What was that thing called? Gizmondo is what it was.
Whichever one of those isn't the publication, because one of those is like an internet website, and one of them...
Gizmondo is what the game system. Let's see. Any other information on Castlevania we can talk about? I think that's it. We've covered it all. Yeah, there's a lot of Castlevania games. There were a lot. Man, it's been... I was really shocked to see that, like, 2013 was the last time we saw a new Castlevania game. It's been that long. It was such a franchise.
I suppose that... Okay, so I guess if you think about it, Konami, as they kind of started to...
drift away.
Make less big budget games, things started to... First, Castlevania fell...
Yep.
Then I guess it would have been Silent Hill.
Yep.
Because then for a while it was like
wait until we start listing off the Silent Hills next week.
We were getting out of them Pro Evolution Soccer and Metal Gear.
Yeah.
And then
PES became like something they wanted.
Yeah,
to play.
and that was because as far as I know, I still think they're making those.
Yes. They
Yeah.
still have those because they must be pretty. They must make them some money.
And to wrap back around to kind of our story from the start, where we were talking about PS5, in that announcement there was sort of this subtle, where they were like, Blue Point came out, like the director or whatever, and he was like, we're working on something super big that everyone's gonna like. So, there's a bunch of these.
There's a lot that we would like to see.
It'd be really easy to see Blue Point pick up some type of Konami game or Konami license and re-envision it, whether it's a Silent Hill game or a Metal Gear game or a Castlevania game. So,
I think we can call it good here. It's about time for the show. End of the show, and you're at a point where we're stuck. We can go deep down there. It's a great little 2D platformer, though.
Yeah, definitely.
Or I guess 2.5.
I had never played this before.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it. All right, let's jump back here. We appreciate everybody for hanging out. Thank you, as always. We had a little bit different plan for it, but this game worked out. This is really good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed checking that out. I played through a little bit of it. I'll probably go through and actually beat the whole thing and go, do a video for the other channel. Cool. But it's a great game. Lords of the Shadow, very good game as well. I'd love to play that here. So if we can get this PC updated and running, the game, we'll definitely fit it into another stream coming up because it's kind of cool.
Well,
it's
we
really
should be. We were supposed to have our internet back today, and I think that sort of might have, whether it was like the machine itself or getting the stream working. So one way or another, we should be able to make that happen here.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Fixstar, thank you for showing up. We always appreciate it. Thanks to Dios and Baltimore and everybody else. We enjoy having everybody here so we can sit and talk about some games. Next week, you know what? Actually, look for our Twitter this week. This weekend, we're going to give some of those Space Robinson keys away.
Right.
So if anybody's interested in that game that we showed earlier, we're going to be doing some giveaways throughout the weekend with that.
Cool.
So follow, if you don't already follow at WildTangent down below. You can see the Twitter there, and we'll be giving away some of those keys for Steam. So if anybody has a PC and they like Steam games, we'll be giving a few of those away. And that will probably cover it. I think next week we'll probably do... Maybe we'll turn to Silent Hill 2, or Silent Hill Homecoming.
Okay.
That might be our game that we play next week, but we'll let everybody know ahead of time. We'll be back next Thursday, as always, 6 p.m., and we appreciate everybody's time. So everyone have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon.
Take it easy.
Take it easy.